So, what we've working on, man?
So, what we've been working on the last couple weeks since I've gotten here, obviously, is having a more neutral path by coming from the inside. So I feel more like I'm turning my center.
Yes.
Now, how could I describe that well to the viewers, like when you talk about turning your center, you know?
Well, you know, for me the main part of the rotation is not coming just on the hips. It's connected here on the belly. It's where the fascia, the spinal fascia, connects the right scapula with the opposite here, with the left one. You have a really good upper body move, elbow move, right lateral bend. You know how to shallow the club, that's really important. And when we shallow the club, when we do this movement, elbow, right lateral bend, the club shallows, and that means the right. That means moving the path to the right.
Right.
So we need to counterbalance this action to the right by rotating. If I just rotate, it means left.
Right.
So doing these two things together makes the part more neutral. That's why rotation for you is a big key. When you feel that you're rotating, you're sure that
absolutely, it just comes automatically.
Yeah. This feeling of moving this left hip a bit lower than the right and moving the sacrum away from the target, I think that's one of the biggest keys for you.
Okay. Here's my my pitching wedge for a 48 degree. So obviously it's turned on everything essentially. There's no, I think a common myth that people like to do with wedges is feel like, oh, you don't want to turn as much and you want to be more, you know, everything really,
yeah.
It's like I don't believe in that either. So
no, the main engine is the body rotation. Then obviously there are different patterns to make a bit scoopy, to get more spin.
Right, of course.
We will see that on the next video, wedge matrix video.
Yeah, right. That's perfect right there.
Flash.
Yeah.
The sound is good.
Yeah.
The body movement is smooth. And
so what we were talking about the other day, I had a problem with, you know, with coming in more too steep, like steep here. And so because the club was coming just basically outside and to the left too much, it would make it sound like I was banging it onto the surface instead of that nice little crisp sound that we just got there. And so Fabian was immediately able to kind of get me out of that by allowing me to shallow by turning the center more. So this came from me coming this way and not turning enough, correct?
Yep.
So, but when I turn, the club shallows automatically, and then it just kind of goes.
Yeah, probably just a player, you have a feeling, and then obviously being as a player, having this feeling of coming steep. From here you can turn. What you do is you try to save the shot by fighting the arms.
Right.
And then obviously, you know what creates high spin, and then club face, not control and all that. So immediately by analyzing your pattern, I know you have been seeing since you were training with Gabriel and with Kevin, I know immediately that your shallowing action is good. So if I give you a bit of rotation and explain you what happened with this right part and then compensate or counterbalance with the left part, then the swing comes neutral again.
Neutral, and my natural ball flight produces just a little bitty draw, you know. Yeah, I mean that's as good as it gets right there, right?
Seems good rotation. You do this naturally.
Right.
If you do this naturally, then you just need a bit of rotation on your body, so the path becomes neutral.
As you know, I like to work the ball a lot, and there's a lot of my viewers, I'm sure, they enjoy working the ball as well. And I want to hit a fade from virtually the same position from the inside, correct? So try to explain a little bit to them what we mean by hitting a fade, or a ball that goes left to right, or straight and falls right from the inside.
Yeah, for me, it seems there are two kind of fades. One fade is like it's going nowhere. The back contact is pure. The contact with the ground is even worse. It's coming to speed, and that's the fade that comes from the outside, and then the exit of the club is coming left. So it's basically a chop down fade. Yeah. But there is another fade that Ben Howard used to call that power fade, and it's produced when you come in slightly from the inside, and then you turn around and then the exit of the hands, they are around you, they are a bit to the left. And that automatically, with the current release, is going to produce a much more compressed fade.
And that's a shot that I was struggling with until just recently, and it's really important that I have this shot, because when I play my best, I work from the inside and I can work the ball upwards without even really thinking about it. It eventually just turns into, okay, as long as I turn, it goes through. I mean, obviously it's never as simple as that, but at a certain level, you stop thinking about where your hands are, what your hands are doing, and kind of focus in on the feel, and then it just produces a shot that you envision. So, I mean, right now, it feels like, now that I'm in this path and then turning left this way, it's just going to automatically do it. Let's see if I can pull this off. Look at that.
That is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that is optimal.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good first
It's
shots.
like, you know, I teach my students, never come to the outside. I always teach, come as neutral as you can, maybe slightly inside, and from there, depending on the exit of the follow-through of the hands, more to the target, a bit more to the left, then you create different shapes. But always coming from the same path.
Yeah, that was great.
That's good, man.
Okay, one more. Let's see if I can hit like a lower cut without the chop, you know, which is a good sign that I'm doing everything right. Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good.
Good.
All right, good job. Thanks, Fabian.
You're welcome, big man. This way.
Yeah.
You know the pattern is going to be left. So what you try to do, you shape the shot
Yeah.
to put it back inside, and then
you notice the misses that overdrawing, trying to draw
exactly
it.
overdrawing more.
A cut that goes way pushed right.
Yeah.
I got a 6-iron here. So what we were just talking about, continuing on the video that we just filmed, is like really feeling that spine engine, which is, if you look at guys like Victor Hovland and people who move their center really well, it's a lot like this, like a stretch here on the way back, and then like a stretch here on the way down, and then it just
there is a really important fascia line that comes from just below the scapula to the opposite hip. And that's what makes, this line of fascia is what makes the rotation in the dorsal. And when you feel that, like a rubber band is a stretch here, like you feel this stretch, then you can produce much more efficient rotation, less effort, and much more speed.
everybody likes speed.
Yeah. Woohoo! Oh, mama. You know, it's funny. Most of the people now they are looking for speed, but they are working just on the gym, doing deadlift, a squat, and working in this pattern of flexing the hips and extending, because they think that the power comes from the ground. But I think that's far from reality. Imagine yourself like a tornado. A tornado has no grip on the surface. It just turns. That's the spine engine. Your pelvis and your spine. If you can rotate that, you don't need to jump, you don't need to create ground forces. The ground forces are created by the movement you do, not by a reaction of what the ground is trying to push you up or
yeah, and if you see a lot of guys, even if you watch like Kyle Berkshire or something, you know, he obviously bombs it. He's completely off the ground with both feet.
Completely.
So if you look at, if you're off the ground both feet like this, what is creating that speed? You know, it is all of this rotation here in the middle, where you don't need to have a weight on your left side, you don't even need to have it on the back. It's almost a non-existent at impact and post-impact if you want like to gain the most massive amount of speed.
Exactly. Obviously, for some people, there's gonna be some slide that I call a secondary, because some people they are a bit stiff on the hips or stiff on the spine, and they cannot produce naturally a pure rotation. They have some movement to the target because they cannot do it. You are lucky you can do it because you are flexible and you have a body that has done this movement for years naturally. And let me tell you guys, Blair, as you feel, as you see, he's athletic. He's not muscular guy, not even me. And we can hit pretty far. Obviously not like Kyle Berkshire, but I mean, he is one of the longest hitters in the Alps Tour. And How many times you go to the gym?
I mean, I basically just stretch and work out the core.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm 138 pounds. Raw muscle, as I always say.
Yes. But you get the speed, you are athletic, you have this fast fascia, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. How was that?
That's good. I mean, it produces the same shot that I want. So, here, already feeling the spine movement, right?
Yep.
Stretch.
Yep,
And then,
exactly.
boom.
A nice move will be like that. Do your back bend. As you know, there is this left lateral bend, and then to get this right lateral bend, we do this move. We stretch all this part.
Yeah.
The sacrum is moving away from the target,
Right,
away
it's
from the
staying
ball to
up.
create some space there,
Yeah.
and then you can do it.
Okay. What I was saying is it's fun to do because it feels effortless. That kind of speed that comes from here, it's not coming from my hands or manipulation. It's not coming from my legs. It's coming from just, and it just kind of when you get this moving, the rest of it moves.
Yeah, when you feel that stretching, it was exactly like a rubber band.
Yeah.
And that was makes effortless speed.
Yeah.
You remember Tiger when he was an amateur?
Yeah.
He was fairly skinny. It remembers
You look like me.
It remembers kind of your body type.
Yeah.
And he was bombing it
Yeah.
with a driver still shafted.
Yeah.
King Cobra.
320 with the steel
320,
shaft.
man.
He was freaking unbelievable, that guy.
That's pretty good.
Yep. That's just fun.
That's smoke, man.
Let's see if I can hit a little cut. This is the kind of practice and the kind of session that I want is when I feel like I have control and I can work the ball both ways.
Yeah.
And if I go to a golf tournament and I get there in the morning and I'm hitting shots on the range, it's not even about hitting, I need to hit X amount of 9-irons or whatever. It's like, no, like go with what you feel. So like this would be, for example, I hit 2 draws perfect, right? Like, oh, well, let's see if I can, all right.
Exactly, with the
like,
same
with the same feeling. Yes. With the same feeling, hit a low cut. And if I'm able to do that, I know I'm going to play good that day.
Good man. Awesome.
That's sweet. Oh, that is like as good as it gets. Yeah, that one's really good. So,
Awesome.
the one I hit left earlier, I mean, obviously that's probably the first bad one I've hit since I got in the bend or the training day. The one I hit left earlier, it was super obvious that I was not, like I kind of got too into to this and forgot about this kind of thing, you know, like.
Okay.
It's okay, it's going to be memorialized forever. So, the one I hit left, I didn't have the sacrum far enough back.
Yes.
My hip wasn't high.
Exactly. Well, you did the first part right, that is this stretching.
Yeah.
But then you need to move the sacrum away from the target to continue triggering this rotation.
Okay.
You need to keep extending this band
Yeah.
while you make the swing. If you just do this,
Yeah. Then it just goes.
go.
And that
Stretching, but you keep pulling the sacrum away from the target.
Okay. And that creates more space to hit like a draw like that with the driver. Oh, that's so
Yeah. Alberto, you need to imitate the swing.
I'm sure Alberto's gonna have a better swing than me with you as a coach. That was great.
Yep.
Okay.
I think they can listen.
I think so, maybe. So those 2 balls were really good. So, feel the stretch, flex sacrum, sacrum goes back,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
sacrum, that's good.
We want to have this. You go to the back swing, good. Left lateral bend, then we change to this stretching.
Okay, yeah.
Right lateral bend. Sacrum is moving that way away from the target. That's your feeling.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is so smug.
Now depending the ball type from this feeling, you exit the hands a bit lefty,
Right.
you exit the hands more to the target.
All right, well, let's see.
That's your natural artistry, so I left that to you.
Yeah.
As a coach, for me it's important that the student keep his root,
Yeah.
you know? You are an artist, you want to see ball flight, you want to play with the ball. That's your part, that's your artistry. You need to give that.
Okay.
I need to give you a feeling that your artistry makes the work.
All right, let's see if I can hit a fade here. Because, I mean, the hardest thing really for most golfers, honestly, I think, is to hit the draws like that with the
Yeah,
driver. I mean, it's a lot easier to hit a fade with a driver than it is to hit a draw. So, but I'm going to hit a fade with this one, and really, the fade should be much easier. Same feeling. On the net. A little bit of a miss there.
Remember that your feeling is still coming slightly from the inside, even for the fade you are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. There it is. Oh my gosh.
It's straight like an arrow.
Just falling to the right. That is beautiful.
Good.
Well, it's good that I can hit a one that, like a missed hit neck that just starts left and stays there. And then be able to hit a ball dead flush on the next one.
Yeah.
With Lewis, he's like,
even though the one on the neck is not a dramatic ball, it will be in play.
oh yeah, absolutely. It's not like it's a hook or anything. But it's a good feeling to know that if that's the worst one to hit the ball and it's just a little left off the net on the left side of the fairway,
Yep.
thanks for that. Yeah, this is good fun, man. All right, Fabian, I got this question from a YouTube viewer of mine asking, what is like a drill you can use to rotate better? To rotate, like something someone can do every day, whether it's at home or on the golf course, to really get that feeling that I've been working on nonstop. For the average golfer to rotate a little bit better.
For me, there are two great drills that I use with my students to get the feeling of rotating. One is with this alignment stick that you put here in between your loops here on the belt, there, and then you put a stick just on the ground, vertical, behind your left ankle, yeah? And then you try to touch at impact. You pull this stick back, and then you touch the other stick. That's one. That's for the, I would say, more for the kind of beginner, I would say that, yeah? And then for the more advanced player, you need to see how your spine is moving from behind. You put a camera or you tell a friend to record you, okay? And then you need to see at the setup, this line of the sacrum, and then at impact, the sacrum needs to be a bit back of that line, never forward. If you go that way and you move your sacrum towards the target and forward that line at the setup, it means that you have a slide. But if you draw this line and then at impact you stay on the line or just behind the line, then it means that you're rotating properly.
So using the camera and just kind of a good little like app would be like the V1 app, something where you can draw yourself a line and then just sit there and really put on those swings and focus on getting that.
Yeah, or just record in your phone in slow motion. You just put the finger where the sacrum is and then you play and then you see how the sacrum is moving. If it's moving just underneath your finger.
So what would be a feel for somebody to try to keep that tush line? Obviously, we've been working on this. This helps me rotate, so it's definitely going to help you guys rotate.
Yeah.
So what would be a good feeling for someone who's like, okay, well, I have this problem of early extension.
We need to understand the pattern. What creates that? You know, the hips. One of the movements, linear, they are flexion, and then this one is extension. We need to understand that we need to go a bit extended on the backswing, then we go flexion. Why is it important to understand this pattern? Because now, most of the people that are working on the gym and they're doing, let's say, squats. They go like here and they go flexion and then they make the maximum power going that way. And they go extension. So on the maximum power, when you have the golf ball during the swing, you create this pattern, extension. And that's what makes moving the hips that way, and not rotating.
Right.
So you need to understand that the correct pattern is extension, flexion, while you pull this sacrum away from the target.
Well, let's back that go. So, something I always do is I do extend a lot on my backswing.
Yeah, exactly. You want a wider backswing, you want to be tall on the backswing, you want to load. If you have seen this guy, Kyle Bex, and you put a line on his head, he's going like this way up.
Yeah.
He's loading properly.
And I definitely do something similar. So, it'll be extension,
And then flexion,
and then,
while you rotate.
and then the extension will come through and after the ball.
Exactly.
And not from the top.
Exactly, not from top.
Let's see if I can bomb the drive. Woohoo! That was nice.
Nice.
Perfect. So
Okay.
guys, definitely give that a try. Download yourself an app. Focus in on that touch line. Stay in flexion, coming from extension and not the other way around.
And remember to subscribe. Formula Go.
Subscribe to Formula Up and don't forget to subscribe to his channel for more ways to move your body optimally. Be sure to go to 5 Minute Golf. I'll put his link down below. Subscribe.
Thank you guys.
You're the man.